It's a great pleasure for me to be here this afternoon. I can just speak straight English, right?
Yes.
No need to translate into Russian.
No.
I didn't know that there was a group like this in Moscow. How long have you all been meeting together?
Just last 2 months.
Only last 2 months?
Yeah. Previously it was not so regular. Once in a month and something like that.
Are you in charge of the
Yes.
group? What is your name?
Sadhu Predas.
And all these gentlemen are studying or working?
Yeah.
Some of them are studying, some of them are working.
It must be a real oasis to find the temple of Krishna in Moscow.
Yes.
Like finding an oasis of water in the Rajasthan desert. And you meet every week and have some katha and prasad?
Yes. Every Sunday.
How many of you gentlemen came in contact with their movements in India before coming to Russia?
No.
So most of you are just coming in contact with ISKCON here in Moscow.
Yes.
And how many of you have gone back to India since you've come in contact with ISKCON and visited Juhu Beach or
I've been to Mathura.
Mathura?
Actually, I was living there for 7 years, but I was in contact, but not so serious about this thing. After coming to this place, seeing the devotion of these devotees, they inspired me a lot.
Oh, that's good. So Krishna directed you.
Yes.
In your heart. You were in Mathura, but to take real shelter, you had to come to Moscow.
Moscow down.
Moscow down.
Yes.
All right, so I thought this evening we'd discuss a little from Bhagavad Gita. Very well-known verse, the 4th chapter. Transcendental knowledge. This is verse number 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Paritunaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Purport. According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, holy man, is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has the qualifications of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is to be understood as sadhu. And duskritam applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or duskritam are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education. Whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well-cultured. As far as the atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear as he is to destroy them, as he did with the demons Ravan and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons. But the Lord expressly descends to appease his unalloyed devotees, who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demon harasses the devotee, even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was born of them. So Lord Shri Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than kill Kamsa, but both were performed simultaneously. Therefore it is said here that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreant, the Lord appears in different incarnations. Oma Gyantaminandasya Ginangina Shalakaya Chakshun Minitam Jena Tasmai Sigurine Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Shwayam Rupakadamayam Dadanti Svapadantika. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Ram Him Shrom Om Param Tataka Hatika Keshvi Jalat Padikalochana Bhadraka Nakashpasa Vasina Vidostate Ugrim Viram Mahavishnu Valantam Shravatamukam Simum Vishanam Bhadram We are reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Bhagavad Gita is unique amongst the many scriptures of the world, primarily because it is spoken by Sri Krishna himself. Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song, and Bhagavad refers to Bhagavan. Bhagavan means that person who owns all opulences. As we look in this world, we see that different people are endowed with different opulences by the grace of the Lord. And they're attractive. If someone has wealth, he's naturally attractive. If someone has education, he's scholarly, he's intelligent, also the people are attracted to him. If someone has beauty, of course, they're attracted. Even if one has a spirit of renunciation, he's also attractive. But no one person can claim to have all these opulences together. The most famous person may not necessarily be the most beautiful person. And the most beautiful person may not be the most renounced person. So although people are attractive for various opulences, no one person in this world has full opulence. All the opulences together. If we could find that person, then he would be Bhagavan, because Bhagavan means he who owns all opulences. So the great sages have determined that that person does exist, but he's not of this world. He's of the spiritual world, the spiritual realm. And that is Sri Krishna. We don't worship Krishna whimsically just because, well, maybe I'll worship Krishna, maybe I'll worship Durga, maybe I'll worship Shiva as God. We worship Krishna as God because through his pastimes we can appreciate that he is actually the owner of all opulences. Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as acknowledged by Lord Brahma, who's the most intelligent person in this universe. There's many intelligent persons, like Albert Einstein. He has a big head. If you see him picture, Einstein was remarkable. His head was normal than the size of an ordinary head. Some of you are maybe physics students or science students. You know, he had a big head, made even bigger by his hairstyle. So he had a big brain, and he discovered some of the workings of material nature. But Brahmaji, he has 4 heads. No matter how intelligent Einstein was, Brahma was at least 3 times more intelligent. He had 4 heads. So Brahma, he has ascertained, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. Ishvara Parama Krishna. And of all the Ishwaras, of course you know this word, Ishvara means controller. So controller means one who has some power. Of all the powerful persons, Parama, the supreme, amongst all those persons, Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Shiva's power, or Krishna's power is even more greater than Shiva, than Brahma, than Surya, than Chandra. Because all these demigods, devas, they're deriving their power from Krishna. So he's the most powerful. So Brahma admits, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. The nature of his Vigraha, his form is completely spiritual. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Kara. He is the cause of all causes. So great authorities like Brahmaji or Shuddha Vyasadeva, Shukadev Goswami, the great authorities in our Vedic culture, they're all in agreement That Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Ete chamsa kulo pumsha Krishnashtu Bhagavan Swayam. Indriya vyakalam lokam vidayante yuge yuge. Out of all the incarnations of the Lord, Ete chamsa kulo pumsha Krishnashtu Bhagavan Swayam. All the incarnations are coming from Krishnashtu, Bhagavan Swayam. He is the original personality of Godhead. So Krishna is the original Lord, and He has very kindly given us Bhagavad Gita. Therefore Bhagavad Gita is unique. Because most scriptures in this world, they're about God. They are spoken by great saints and sages, and that is very nice. But Bhagavad Gita is unique because it's spoken by God Himself. Who is the supreme authority? God. So if God is speaking about God, oh, this is something amazing. Just like you're the best authority on you. Right? No one knows you better than you. Even your best friend, you have some friend here, and he knows so many things, but you didn't tell him everything. There's some little secrets in the heart that maybe you are just keeping for yourself. You are the best authority on you. So who is the best authority on God? God. So if God speaks, it is to be taken quite seriously. So Gita is the song given to us by Sri Krishna Himself. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives us the most confidential knowledge. In Gita, Krishna begins to reveal His transcendental nature, His supreme divine personality. And this is what makes Bhagavad Gita unique of all the scriptures of the world. If you study, with all due respect, you study Bible, you study Quran, you study Torah, you study the Lotus Sutras of Buddha, there's definitely some spiritual knowledge. But, I mean, at least I have read these scriptures, there's no definition about the personality of God. They encourage us in moral principles and the need for engaging in spiritual life and some history, but there's no real explanation about the personality of Godhead. But Gita begins like this. Krishna reveals Himself as God in Bhagavad Gita. Now why is that important? Because how you can love someone you don't know? The whole purpose of Dharma is ultimately to awaken our love for God. That is the purpose of Dharma. Beyond all the rules and regulations and rituals, why are we practicing Dharma, duty, or religion? Because we want to awaken that dormant love of God that is there in our hearts. Once we were all with Krishna in the spiritual world. But for one reason or another, we have fallen into Durgadam, the prison house of material existence. And due to our association with this material energy, we have forgotten Krishna. It is like some spiritual amnesia. Are any of you studying medicine? Doctors know that you get a big bang on the head, and then sometimes you may forget everything. I knew one gentleman, the story is that he was going to the local store to buy some groceries, and there was very cold ice on the ground. He slipped, banged his head. He stood up, couldn't remember who he was. He didn't know who he was, where he lived or what, nothing. He didn't have his wallet, any identification, just $10. And he was new to the area, they just moved into the house, so nobody else knew him. So when he went to the police station, they were thinking he's some complete stranger who has come to town and bumped his head. And although they put an announcement in the newspaper, somehow, by providence, his wife and family didn't see it. And so he actually didn't go back to his family. He actually ended up moving out of that town, going to another state in America. He went to, I think, North Carolina from California. He got another job. He ended up getting married, having another family, a whole other set of circumstances. And one day, about 15 years later, he was taking a shower and he dropped the soap and he slipped on the soap and banged his head. And he woke up. Wait a minute, I was on my way to get the groceries. He remembered the telephone number. Ding-a-ling, he called up. His wife, where have you been all day 50? Well, it's a long story, you know. I slipped on the ice and then I slipped on the soap. Are you crazy? Well, you know. So it's a medical phenomena that a person can lose his memory of who he is. This man had a big problem. Now he had 2 families to support. 2 nagging wives. 2 businesses, 4 cars, 2 houses. So we are like that. We have fallen from the spiritual sky. It's a long fall, gentlemen. And we have banged our head on the material nature, and we have literally forgotten who we are. Jiver Supoya, Krishna Nityadas. We are taking it that we are these bodies, and we are Indian, and we are American, and we are Russian, and German, and Polish, man, woman, young, old, fat, skinny. No. These are temporary designations of the body. Who are we really? Jiver Supoya, Krishna Nityadas. We are the eternal servants of Krishna. So if we have forgotten who we are, and we've also forgotten who is God. So the whole purpose of religion is to clear away that spiritual amnesia so that we can remember, yes, now I have forgotten. I am Krishna's servant. Let me again engage in devotional service to God. So the whole purpose of this Sanatana Dharma, this process of Krishna consciousness, is to remember, to awaken our love for Krishna. Now in most religious processes in the world, there's some conception of God. Alhamdulillah, in the Islamic tradition, God is great. But you ask our Muslim brothers, who is Allah? Allah, you can have no pictures of Allah. You cannot speak about His personal nature. They're accepting the existence of a personal God, but there is no detailed description given. You ask our Christian brothers, who is God? You are speaking so strongly. You must surrender to Jesus or you will burn in the lake of fire forever. I don't know here, but in America they have them on the street corners with the Bible. Jesus or perish. So you ask him, who is God? He's God. Oh. Well, who is God? He's God. I see. But exactly who is He? He is who He is. He's the Almighty. And He'll punish you. Thank you. There's no actual detailed conception of God. The same in the Torah. Before becoming devotee of Krishna, I was studying so many shastras because since I was a boy I was always very interested. And at one point I wanted to be a priest, another point I wanted to become a Muslim, Ayatollah. I wanted to become Jewish, that was more difficult. I was always searching and I was always asking. So who is God? No one could tell me who is God. It was very nice that they believe in the existence of God. Just like it is very nice to accept that there is the president of the country. But some people want to know who is the president, isn't it? They're not satisfied just to know that there is the president. They want to know who is this president, what is he like, what does he do, how much money he's stealing. They want to know the personality of the president. Well, similarly, there are those who want to know the personality of Godhead. That's the beauty of our Vedic literature. That in Vedic literature, there's a detailed description of the personality of Godhead. Prabhupada's book, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because naturally, if you want to awaken your love for someone, you have to know what they're like, isn't it? Actually, The perfection of the religion is when one becomes Vaishnava, devotee of Vishnu or Krishna. Because only when you know, when you have information about a person, can you choose to be attracted to them. Let us take, for example, if I tell you I have a very close friend. This friend is so dear to me. I love this friend so much. I can't tell you how much I love this friend. So what is his name? I don't know. Excuse me? You love your friend so much, you cannot tell me his name? Well, where does he live? I don't know. Well, okay, what does he do? I haven't got a clue. Now, wait a minute. You're telling me you have a friend that you love very much. You can't tell me his name. You can't tell me what he does. You can't tell me what he does. At least tell me what he's looking like. Never seen him. I'm going to begin to really wonder about you. You love your friend. So there's so much kata, love of God, around the world. We want to love God. What is the impetus of love? Why does a man love a woman? We have to use a very mundane analogy. Why does a man love a woman? Because her sweet speaking, the way she walks, the way she talks, the way she dresses, so many things. The details are the impetus of love. So this is Bhagavad Gita. Krishna begins to reveal, God begins to reveal His personality. He begins to reveal His abode. Krishna says in Gita, in the spiritual sky there's no need for sunlight, or moonlight, or electricity. Because in the spiritual world, everything is self-effulgent. Chintamani prakara sadamasu kalpraviksha laksha viteshu shudabir abhipalyantam Lakshmi sahasrashata sambram sevenaman govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. Chintamani, the spiritual world is made of a transcendental touchstone, nothing like any of the elements of this world. That touchstone is self-effulgent. So, where is this information given in any other scripture? But Krishna begins to reveal in Bhagavad Gita the transcendental nature. This is actually the ABCs of spiritual life. And from a good understanding of Bhagavad Gita, we can graduate into literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Purana, or the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Kali Yuga, appearing as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the beauty of our Vedic scriptures. We introduce to the personality of God here. So that is Gita. It is God speaking Himself. So in this particular verse, Krishna reveals the purpose of His coming to this world. The other day we were speaking in the Moscow temple about the appearance of sadhus in this world. And we were utilizing the point that why does a sadhu come to this world? What interest does a sadhu have in this world? His only interest actually is to preach Krishna Katha, preach the science of devotional service. So one may also question, why would God come to this world? He is Rasaraj. He is the king of all rasas, all spiritual mellows in this Vaikuntha Loka, that place which is free from anxiety. What's He coming here? This is a world of darkness and ignorance. Abhrama bhuvana loka punar avito arjuna mamopetite kontiya punar janmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. Who wants to come to such a place as this? So why does God come? To enjoy this world? No. This is His inferior energy. Why does He come? Out of His mercy He comes. Out of compassion for you and me. Just like a father is always thinking of the welfare of his children, God is always thinking of the welfare of every living entity. You can think of a few family members. God is so intelligent. His intelligence is so vast that he remembers each and every one of his unlimited children. So when we fall from the spiritual sky, Krishna is making a plan how to get us back. So he comes for that reason, out of compassion. There was once a great king. He was Muslim king, but he was affectionate towards the Vaishnavas, the Hindus as well. His name was Akbar. You know Akbar. Akbar, I think in 1700s. And he was having some association with the Rajput kings in Jaipur. So Akbar, he was quite liberal actually. Later it was Aurangzeb who was the destroyer of all the temples and the deities, but Akbar was different. He was not so narrow-minded and naive, biased. So Akbar, he was a scholarly man, and he even studied Vedic scriptures. He knew Quran, he knew Gita, he knew so many things. So he had one minister named Birbal. Birbal. So he used to discuss with Birbal, and he was saying to Birbal, what is the Hindu god, he is called what? So Birbal said, Krishna. Birbal said, Krishna is the same as Allah. Oh, Krishna is the same as Allah? So Birbal said, yes, God is one. It's different names. Like the sun. In different parts of the world, they call the sun by different names. Surya, sun, La Sole, El Sol, Kulungul, in the Zulu man. I spent a lot of time in Africa. So in the African man, Arakulungula. So we're talking about different suns, the African sun, the Spanish sun, the French sun, the German sun, the Indian sun. One sun, different names. So God is one, but he has many different names. So Akbar, Krishna. And then he said, what is the special nature of your God Krishna? And Birbal said, he comes to this world. After the Muslim man, that is. There is no God, but, how do they say? There is no God but God, and Allah is his prophet. This is about the extent of the understanding. There is no God but God, and Allah is his prophet. There's no mention in Quran of God appearing in this world. So Akbar immediately took offense. Allah coming to this world? No. Why? Allah is so great. Why he would come to this insignificant place? He sends his prophet, Muhammad. Why he would come here? He's so great. A king does not step down. If you throw the bone to the king will not get off the throne to eat the bone. He's a Raj. Why God would come to this world, birth and death? And Birbal said, no, you see, out of love he comes. No, Birbal, this is nonsense. He's not going to come. He's so great, going to come step down for us, you and me. So just at that moment, they were walking in the palace courtyard in Delhi. You know, Red Fort? So there was a garden there, and one of Akbar's grandchildren, just a little lad, maybe 3 years old, he was playing by the pond, and he was catching frogs, and he fell in. And then bloop, 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 bloop. Started to drown. So Akbar took off his helmet, took off his sword. You know this, they were powerful men. If you've been to Jaipur, you see the museum there? You see the swords of the Rajput kings from here to the door. Almost. The fish was this big. Very powerful man. Man Singh, his sword was I couldn't lift it with 4 of our brahmacharis, his sword. To be a Rajput warrior, you had to be 7 feet tall, right? And be able to fight one tiger to the death. You take those special knives they have, you hold like this, and to become Rajput soldier, a prince, you had to go into the jungle and fight one tiger, not with machine gun, nuclear bomb. No, with one knife, just like nails of a tiger. You were the tiger. To prove your courage, the Kshatriya had to show courage in battle. And the people would have faith, yes, he's a warrior, I will. So, Akbar took off his huge sword and his knife, and his coat was bedecked with jewels and rubies and pearls and diamonds, very heavy. Onto the dust. Very tall man, over 7 feet tall, you know, big like this. Kings are eating very nicely. So then he goes like an elephant. He's running. My grandson, and he dives into the water, and all the water comes out of the pond. He swims down to the bottom. His little finger, he picks up his son, grandson, and he brings him to the shore. The deed is done. Then he's walking back. So then Birbal says, now you understand why God comes to this world? Birbal, what nonsense are you speaking? I have just saved my grandson from drowning, and yours. How is that understanding why God comes to this world? So Birbal was very smart. That's why he was chief minister. Now to be chief minister, you don't have to be so smart. You have to know how to get money. Back pocket, right? Big pocket. Your pocket to my pocket. So he said, you see now, yes, you see, you are the chief of this land. You are the Raj, you are the king, King Akbar. You could have asked so many of your soldiers to go to that water to pick. That is not a big thing for one soldier to go and pick up the boy. But out of love, out of concern, out of compassion, he's one of your family members, you have to do it yourself. Just to be sure, you did it yourself. So Akbar was also very intelligent. Aha, I see, yes. Now I understand why you Hindus say that God is coming to this world. He can send a sage, he can send a sadhu, but he's so much concerned himself for his spiritual children. Hidayi dahi dharmasya garim bhavati bharata abhyuta namadhamsya. Whenever and wherever there's a decline in religiosity and a subsequent decrease in religion and increase in irreligion, Krishna says, Hidaya dahi dharma dhane bhavati bharata. At that time I come myself. So he comes. If it's necessary, he comes. Of course, God, he sends the sadhu, he sends the prophet. He may even send his own personal son, like in Christianity, they accept Jesus as the Son of God. All right, we accept, we have no problems with that. Sometimes he may have to come himself. Just like baby is crying in the next room. So I'll say, Mata, please, baby, stop crying. So maybe she can't stop really. So then I say to my servant, you stop the baby from crying. But he doesn't like children. So he's not going. So maybe I have to get up myself. Okay, baby, stop. So like that. Maybe when there's irreligion, God can send the sadhu, he can preach. Or he can send his son. Sometimes he must come himself if people become too irreligious. What is the definition of religion? The definition of religion is to follow the laws of God. That's the definition of religion. Sarva dharmam parityajya mamekam saranam braja aham tam sarvapapebhyo moksisi masuja. Abandon all varieties of mundane duty dharma and surrender unto me, Krishna says, I will protect you from all sinful reaction, do not fear. So Krishna, irreligion means sin. When people engage in irreligion, sinful activity, they lose their sense of God consciousness. So no wonder today that people are so forgetful of God. So many beautiful churches in this country, you see on Sunday, who is going? Old ladies and babies. People have lost. Manushyanam sahasresu kastidyatate siddhaya. Krishna says out of millions and millions of men, perhaps one will be interested in knowing me. And of those who are sadhus, hardly one knows me in truth. Very unfortunate. So to revive that God consciousness, sometimes the Lord, He sends His Son, He sends His prophet, or His converts. So why so many religions? If God is one, why so many religions? Why not just one religion? Because people have different mentalities. Education is one. Why so many schools? Because people have different mentalities. First class universities, Oxford, Harvard, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Even people are coming all the way from India to go to those schools. Because different mentality. So whenever the Lord or His representative come, they teach as much as the people at that time can understand. When Jesus came, what kind of people was He speaking to? Well, you can tell from His instructions. Krishna, when He's speaking, what is He saying? Dehinosmin yata dehe kovanam yovanam jara tata tayantaras prabdir dhirastatanamuyanti. He's speaking from the transcendental platform. As the embodied soul continually passes from the body of a baby to a boy to a youth to an old man, similarly the soul passes into another body at death. He's speaking to Arjuna. And our Vedic scriptures, Shukadev Goswami, Sutta Goswami, they're speaking to very elevated sages, so they're speaking very high-level philosophy. But what is Jesus saying? Don't kill, don't steal, don't commit adultery, don't leave your wife and enjoy another man's wife. This is His level of preaching. No doubt He was God conscious. Many scholars say He went to India. He went to Puri. And from Puri He imbibed His understanding of God as a sentient being, as a personality. So much of His teachings are actually, you can see the root there in Vedic culture. There's even historical references to Jesus' passing to different towns and villages. So, but what kind of audience is He speaking to? Don't steal, don't kill, don't have sex with the woman next door. He's not like Narada speaking to great sages. So He gives only a synopsis, only a beginning understanding of religion. And therefore He didn't reveal everything. He said to His disciples, I have more to teach you, but you're not ready to bear it. You're not ready to understand. And similarly, the great prophet Muhammad, we offer our deep respects. He's having to teach his followers, don't kill the girl children. One of his main laws is you must not kill the females, because in those days the females were more, the males would grow up and produce, and the females, they're not making money for the family. So there was some misunderstanding. So, like this, the teacher teaches as much as the people can understand at that particular time. They themselves know. Jesus knew God. Muhammad knew the Lord. But they were not able to reveal everything because the people were not ready. Just like if I had to give class to these children. Do you think they can listen more than 30 seconds? I'd say, who is Krishna? Krishna is God. What color is He? Blue. Thank you very much, boss. Finish the lecture. All right, some sweet balls, children. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare. But because we are older and more mature, we are speaking more deeper philosophy. So we offer our respects to all the great spiritual traditions of the world. But for one who really wants to go deep into the subject matter, he must read Vidya. This is the PhD of spiritual philosophy. Because Krishna begins from the transcendental platform. What's more, He reveals His divine nature. So we can hear about His appearance in this world. How He comes to enliven His devotees, how He comes to kill the demons, how He comes to establish religious principles. These are 3 reasons why God comes to this world. But His most important reason is what? out of love for his devotee. Paritranaya sandama. As far as killing the demons, it doesn't take much. Krishna can tell Vayu, okay, give a big blow there. Hurricane. Or he can tell Bhumi, shake a little bit. Earthquake. There was recently an earthquake in Italy and some people were killed. Heard there was a big hurricane off Mexico, Acapulco. 25, 30 people were killed. So the demigods are all devoted servants of Bhagavan, of Krishna. So if he orders, then, it is not difficult for just some disturbance in the material nature. And who's in control of material nature? Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving things. So Krishna is in control. To kill a demon is not a very difficult thing for him. So he doesn't come specifically to kill. Of course, there's big demons like Ravan, Kamsh, Hiranyakashipu. It takes a little bit to kill those guys. Hiranyakashipu, Bhura Bhuvaha Svaha, he actually conquered the 3 worlds. The demigods were his foot servants, his maidservants. So he was powerful asura. Well, maybe only Krishna could kill him as Narsingh Bhagavan. Or Ramchandra. Finished the Ravan. We just celebrated Ramchandra's victory over Ravana a few days ago. Last week, I think it was. We burned the effigy of Ravana. All the kids threw stones at him. Raghupati Raghavarajaram Patita Pavana Sitaram. So, but generally to kill the demons is not a difficult thing for Krishna. And to establish Dharma, only God can establish Dharma. Because of our limited mind and imperfect senses, we can't speculate what is the absolute truth. So it must come to us from God Himself. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat panitam. So He comes and He speaks the absolute truth. Elegance is truth spoken concisely. So Bhagavad Gita is only 1,000 pages. And how long did it take our Krishna to speak? Maybe, 1 hour, hour and a half. You can read the shlokas in an hour and a half. I mean, gentlemen, there was a great battle to begin. So Krishna couldn't take too long. The 2 sides were eager to fight, weren't they?
Yes.
Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas, this fighting business they like. Because if they die, if they win, they get the booty, and if they die, they go to Shvargalok. No problems. Kshatriyas are not afraid of dying. They have some Vedic knowledge. So they know if they die on the battlefield, apsharas. Shoras. Niet problem, as they say in Russian. No problem. So the warriors were eager to fight. And here's some philosophical discourse going on. Just like sometimes we are speaking to the devotees, and generally I speak too long, because I am intoxicated with this philosophy. I'm liking too much to speak Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes I can speak 2 or 3 hours. Don't worry. And devotees are looking at their watch. When is Swamiji going to stop speaking? The tummy is growling. Prasadam is also part of the process of Krishna. So you see, there was a big battle to begin, and the Kshatriyas, right, they were on both sides. And here's this philosophy. Philosophy is for the Brahmanas. Right? The Brahmanas are the speaking the philosophy. Om Tat Sat. Kshatriyas. So here's Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna's a Kshatriya. He's put down his bow and he's crying, lamenting for his family members on both sides. And Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is very kind. He took 1 hour and a half. Great Munis are deliberating on the absolute truth for many years together and coming to no conclusion. To be a Muni, you have to have your own interpretation of the philosophy. But Stirtadi Muni means one who's actually come to the conclusion of all knowledge. Krishna is the absolute truth, we are all his eternal servants, and we should get back to the real business of serving God. So Krishna, he spoke dharma in 45 minutes. It doesn't take him very long. So he says the 3 reasons that he comes: to deliver his devotees, kill the demons, and establish dharma. Only he can do it. But to kill the demons is not difficult. To establish dharma in 45 minutes. The real reason he came is for his devotee. The Lord has so much bhav, so much love for his devotee. So that is why he comes. As the devotee is loving God, God is also loving his devotee, because love is reciprocal. So really Krishna is coming to associate with his devotees and take them home to the spiritual world. So if we can become devotees, we should attract God's attention in that way, by becoming devotees. Because the demons also attract God's attention. Yes. Kamsa, he attracted the attention of Lord Krishna. But what kind of relationship did he have with Krishna? After all the atrocities that Kamsa had done, Krishna met him in the wrestling arena in Mathura. And Krishna gave him a good punch and sent him to the abode of Yamraj. Ravana, we already discussed. And Hiranyakashipu, the Lord, took his intestines and wrapped them as a garland around his neck in Sringadev. Took his heart out, threw it to the other side. That's what he thought of Hiranyakashipu. Of course, the Lord is very kind. He's called Hari. Hari means he who removes all auspiciousness. Krishna is all auspicious. However you come in contact with Krishna, it's for your good. Because these demons, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu and Kamsa, by the touch of the Lord, they became liberated. They became freed from all sinful reactions, all ignorance, by the touch of the hand of the Lord, and they achieved moksha, liberation. Of course, they didn't go back to the spiritual world, but they got moksha, they got liberation. So anything Krishna does is auspicious. But we should consider what type of affection we want from the Lord. Do we want the affectionate relationship like Arjuna had? Like Prahlad Maharaj had, like Hanuman had? Or do we want the relationship like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, or Kamsa had? Anyway, you're going to get mercy. What type of mercy do we want? I think we are all in agreement. We would like the Lord to put his hand on our heads like he did Prahlad Maharaj. Yes, my dear Prahlad, you are my dear devotee. Or like Hanuman. After all was said and done, and the battle was finished for Lanka, Hanuman came forward, and Ram was so pleased with Hanumanji. He said, Hanuman, what do you want? Did Hanuman say, I want to merge into your existence, Ram? Some philosophers are saying that is the goal, to merge into the existence of God, to become Bhagavan. But is that what Hanuman said? Hanuman said, I want to be your servant. Please, Ram, give me one little embrace. So you see the classic picture? Ram is embracing Hanuman. And what did Arjuna want? Arjuna wanted to be freed from his temporary ignorance. The Lord put him into ignorance so he could speak Gita. So this is a sweet relationship. So if we want to attract Krishna's attention, we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna and be good bhaktas, good devotees. And how to be good devotees? In this age, the best way to be a devotee is instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself, appearing in the guise of a devotee. He's giving us the process whereby we can become dear to Krishna. We can call out with love, we can call it affection, his name. Just like a small baby's crying for its mother. So we should call out to Krishna with bhav, with love. And how to do that? How to develop that love? We call on his name. And what is the original name of God? There's so many names of God. Why God should have only one name? You have 3 names. Your first name, your middle name, And if you are from Bengal, your last name Das. So, God has unlimited names, but what is his most intimate name, whereby his most confidential devotees know him in his own village, in the spiritual sky, Vrindavan? They call him Krishna. So if we chant with some bhav, with some love, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna will come on his Garud. You've seen in Bhagavad Gita. I am the swift deliverer. For my devotee, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. He will come down on Garuda, his eagle carrier, and with his hand he will pick you up from the ocean of birth and death and take you back to the spiritual sky. That is not some mythology, some mythology, some story made up by the sages. Scientists are saying, this Krishna Lila, this is mythology. How could God ride in a bird? How could God have 4 hands? How could God marry 16,108 wives? How could God lift a mountain with his little finger when he was 7 years old? How you can say God can't do? That means you don't understand what is God. To say God can't do, that is not a proper statement. God can do anything he wishes. If you want to know what he does, then you have to listen to his words in Gita. He can come. It is not mythology. You think that Srila Vyasadeva, a great sober sage, is writing some fairy tales for little 5-year-old kindergarten children? That is his business? Narad Muni, even Shankaracharya, Bhajagovinda, 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 Mudhamate. He's telling his own disciples, just give up your interpretation and your speculation and just worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda. Bhajagovindam, 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 Mudhamate. You fools and rascals, just worship Govinda, he is saying. He's giving us some Mayavad philosophy, but that is just to facilitate the desire of some people to forget God. Himself, he was actually a great bhakta. Incarnation of Shiva. Shiva is the greatest bhakta. He is sitting in Mount Kailash. What is he thinking about all day? Becoming God? No, he wants to become devotee of Lord Shankarshan. He's the greatest devotee. So we should follow in the footsteps of these great devotees and worship Lord Shri Krishna. And in this age, the best way to worship Lord Krishna is given by Krishna himself. Krishna Varnam Tushta Krishnam Shangopanglisha Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtan Praya Yushantihi Suvedasaha. The same Bhagavan who appeared in Dwapara Yuga has now appeared in the Kali Yuga in the guise of a devotee. Before he was blue, now he's golden. Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari. He's taken the mood of Radharani, so externally he appears golden. Whatever your internal mood is, it will appear externally. The face is an index of the mind. So Mahaprabhu is appearing in the mood of Radha. Krishna tried to understand, what is Radha's love? He couldn't figure it out, so he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radha. So therefore he's golden. But his intention is to deliver all the fallen souls of the sage. So Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kulu Nashdeva, 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 Bhakti. Nashdev, Nashdev, Nashdev. In Vedic culture, you say 3 times something, you're really putting the point home. Do it, do it, do it. There's no other way, there's no other way, there is no other way for the people of the sage. Maybe if you were born in a previous age, you could do some yoga. But nowadays, if you've done one sinful activity, you're disqualified. One drop of liquor, one lusty thought, you're disqualified from Patanjali Yoga. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful. He's giving his mercy to the most fallen. Anyone and everyone, inside of India, outside of India, from the hellish planets, a snake from the lower worlds. If you can chant, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Go back to God. But you gentlemen have an advantage, because you've taken your birth in Bharat. Of course, I don't know what you have done to come to Moscow. You must have done some impious activity that you've come here. I can't imagine leaving India to come here, but I know you have your work to do, your studies, that's all right. But Krishna has saved you. He's brought you to the shelter of the devotees here in Gaurnitai, and this little Vaikuntha abode here. So, but from birth you are fortunate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, anyone who has taken his birth in India, that is very pious. That means in past life some pious activity. But I've seen in India, they are forgetting very quickly. Nowadays, especially the cinema, the movie theaters. It is an eyesore. And you ask so many Indian children, they can tell you so many things about Michael Jackson as he's coming to Bombay. I know when Michael Jackson came to Bombay, 100,000 people went to see him. So many people. They can tell you about Ninja Turtles and Madonna and Spice Girls. They know so many. I've been in Bombay recently. Then I say, who's Bhima? Bhima? Who's Arjuna? Arjuna? Who's Yudhishthira? I think he's the actor in that movie that's coming out, the one who embraces that big girl and gives her Do you know Gita? No, I know rap, man. I can rap. Do you like the bhajans? Do you like the bhajan? No, I like techno music, man. University student. Techno. What is happening to our culture? It's going. Mahabharata, Ramayana. This is the real glory of Mahabharata is the real glory of India. Now the last chapter of Mahabharata will be techno music with Ninja Turtles and Sylvester Stallone. And what is happening? But this Vedic culture was once all over the world. Yudhishthira, he was emperor of the whole world. The whole world was following Vedic culture, but Kali Yuga is very cruel. Kaler doshadit he rajan asti eka mahaguna kirtanadeva krishnasya. It's an ocean of inauspiciousness. But by God's mercy, there's one good thing left in this age. Kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha paramudya. That by chanting Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
We can become Krishna conscious. The same result that was achieved in Satya Yuga by 100,000 years of meditation. In Treta Yuga by 10,000 years of Agnihotra. Svaha, svaha, 10,000 years. And in Dwapara Yuga, by Archa Vigraha, worshipping the Murti, can be done in a very short time in Kali Yuga just by Nam, by Harinam, by chanting. So, you were born into this culture, it's easy for you. Us Westerners, we did so many nonsense things, it took us some time to get going. But for those who are born in India, it's in your blood. It is something very easy. So, whether you've taken the Krishna consciousness in Mathura or you've taken the Krishna consciousness in Moscow, you have taken. So you should perfect it and go back to Godhead. Your family members are thinking, you have come home to Moscow to get educated, you have come to Moscow to work. Okay. We have to take care of our bodies, our family, that is all right. But you should surprise them when you come home. What have you learned? Your father, your mother, your wife, your friends, what have you learned? They're expecting some, mechanical engineering, some doctoring, some whatever. And you will say, what have I learned? What is the best thing I have learned? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Parisevanam, Archanam, Bandham, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmani Vedanam. When Prahlad Maharaj went to the Gurukul, actually it was demon cool, when he went to the demon cool to learn, then his father, the great diplomat, politician, Hiranyakashipu, the best of the demons, he took him on his lap. My son Prahlad, tell me, what have you learned from Chandana Marka? Diplomacy, cheating, avarice, business. What have you learned today in school? Father, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandham, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So Hiranyakashipu, he wasn't listening closely. He said, pretty good, you've learned these things. But dear Prahlad, if you employ those activities in my service, you will be a good demon, like father, like son, Prahlad. That's actually there in the Bhagavatam. Like father, like son. Prahlad said, Pitaji, oh best of the Asuras, you have not understood. I did not say Hiranyakashipu Smaranam. I said Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandham Dashyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. You rascal Prahlad! Don't you know who I am? You're undermining my authority. Now I shall send you to the abode of Yamaraj. He took out his sword. You say there's a God, Prahlad, that's everywhere, who's all pervading. So, Prahlad, you're going to wonder what kind of class this is. If your God is there, let me see him come to protect you now. You see that pot, Prahlad? Yes, Pita. God is all pervading. Is in that chair, Prahlad? Oh yes, Pita. He is everywhere by his energies. Is in that pillar, Prahlad? Oh yes. He could actually see, Prahlad could see the Shringadev peeping out. Smash the pillar! And the Shringadev came out and killed the great atheist. So we must be like Prahlad. We must be devoted to the Lord and awaken our Krishna consciousness. So you all can do it. You meet here regularly, you have some bhajan, you speak from Gita, and you take some prasad, and then when you go back home, and your relatives, so no doubt they're pious, but being the good son, you must deliver them also. That is the duty of the son, to send his father even beyond Pitrilok, even beyond the Shraddha ceremony, to deliver your forefathers. If you become a devotee of Krishna, then 10,000 generations back and 10,000 generations forward, they will all become Krishna bhaktas. They will all go back to Godhead. That is what Prahlad said. Actually, Nrsingadev said. Prahlad, he offered Prahlad a benediction. Prahlad said, my Pita, look at him, he's a mess. Can you deliver him? Nrsingadev said, he's already delivered by the touch of my nails. And because you are a pure devotee, Prahlad, you have appeared in this dynasty of demons, 10,000 generations shall be delivered from this material world. So you can do the best service to your family by becoming Krishna conscious. And when you go home, when you go back to India, they should see a difference. Ooh, something different about him. What is it? He's become sadhu in Moscow. How you become sadhu in Moscow? You can say everything is possible by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who is this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I have not heard of Chaitanya. Then you can say, incarnation of Krishna in this age, and he has given us this wonderful process of chanting and dancing and feasting, and this is what I have been doing in Moscow. Chanting, dancing, feasting, little study on the side. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Bol.
Someone has question.
If you have a question, you can. No question means everyone agrees. Yes. Prabhupada said one time. If there's no question, everyone is, yes, what you have spoken is the truth, so now let us get down to the real business of serving Krishna. Is there prasad to be served?
Yes.
Okay, this is month of Kartik, so I am just taking, I'm in a special vow. At Kartik I take a little vow to become more austere. Vajravekam, Manasakrodavekam, to control the tongue, because sannyasis are meant to have a little austerity there. So I'm just taking khichdi for 1 month. Actually, I'm taking khichdi for 3 months and some little banana. But so you'll have to excuse me if I don't eat the. You have a feast here. You take a feast on this program?
It's a normal prasad. It's not
Yeah, please.
normal prasad.
Krishna Kirtan? I'll see if she made me some khichdi. Whose apartment is this?
This is temple apartment. Temples.
Oh. So this is just for having meetings?
Yeah.
Really? So who takes care of the apartment?
Sadhupuri Prabhu.
How many Indian people are there in Moscow?
15,000.
How many?
15,000.
15,000. Where are they all?
They will come gradually. This you can give.
If you want to come, then I will give some prasad. I am going to India on Tuesday. Shall I pass a message to your family members? I am thinking that Vrindavan is my real home. So I'm going home on Tuesday. Now, are all of you preaching to the other Indian people in Moscow and bringing them sometimes?
Yeah.
Yes. What is your name? Huh?
Please.
Are you coming from airport flight or Air India flight?
To
Delhi.
Delhi or Lufthansa from Frankfurt.
But tomorrow you're leaving for?
Tomorrow I'm going to Warsaw
Yes.
for one day, and then from Warsaw I fly to Frankfurt, Delhi, and then Vrindavan. And then I go to Jaipur.
Oh.
Then I go to Puri, and then Vrindavan. How many of you have been to Vrindavan? How many will go to Vrindavan when you get back? Everybody will.
When you will go to Puri?
Huh?
When you will go to Puri?
Puri, I'm going in maybe 10 days' time.
After? When you will go?
After?
When you will go to Puri?
When or where?
When you will be going to Puri?
Oh, when? In about 10 days.
After 10 days?
Yes. That is one of my favorite places. They won't let me in the temple, but still. We can swim in the ocean where Mahaprabhu bathes the body of Srila Haridas Thakur. We can go to the Samadhi Mandir of Haridas Thakur, Gundicha temple. So many nice places.
Prabhu, I have one question in mind. There are temples for all the Brahmanas, all the Jain Brahmanas.